XRP is becoming hotter as more than $130 million is currently being moved into wallets to buy XRP for the first time ever via centralized exchanges. We have a lot to look forward to next week when the FOMC meets. Jerome Powell should say more dovish things about the change from quantitative tightening to quantitative easing, which we've been in for the previous several months. Now, as always, keep in mind that this is not financial advice. I'm just trying to let you know what plays. If you're new here, please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm and think about subscribing to the channel. Let's get started. Everyone. So the whole market is up because people think next week will be a nice one. Today is Saturday, July 26th, and everything is in the green, which is usually a good sign following last week when we saw a little bit of a drop near the end of the week. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday were all corrective territory days. So, once more, the future of crypto looks positive. There are some clear winners. There is a lot of news about HBAR. XRP is still up today, roughly 1.46% in the last 24 hours. Bouncing off of support and staying above $3, we enjoy that XRP is now above $3, at 308 or 318, up 50% this month, which I still think is an excellent location to dollar cost average if you want to build up your original investment. You can do this on almost all of the big centralized exchanges such as Binance, Bybit, and Coinbase. You can even do it using DeepFlow if you wish to use them as a super exchange. The link is always below in the description below. So let's speak about some of the things that we need to pay attention to. First and foremost, big banks used to be the only ones who offered prime brokerage services, but that is changing. To get institutions into DeFi with regulated clearing for futures, swaps, and crypto, which would free up trillions of dollars in trades. Brad is back for another round of crypto in a minute. He talks about how prime brokers make it easier to clear trades between TradeFi and DeFi on a large scale. Okay, everyone, let's take a minute to watch this together. It's only a short video that lasts a minute. It has gotten more than 500,000 views in less than 24 hours since it was published yesterday. Let's hear what Brad has to say. Honestly, who is better, David Schwartz or me? Hello, I'm Brad Garlinghouse. This is Crypto in a Minute. Prime Broker is a one-stop shop for all kinds of asset managers, from well-known hedge funds to trading desks to market makers. It gives them a place to trade and settle everything, from digital assets to derivatives to swaps and everything else. And these people are making deals worth trillions of dollars. In the past, the big commercial banks like JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs have owned those. Banks don't do now. Ripple recently bought Hidden Road, a new player in this market that is growing. By the way, folks, for the Hidden Road story, make sure you conduct some research on the acquisition Ripple made. Ripple Labs took a major risk by doing this, but it fits with their plan to take over SWIFT and make cross-border payments easier. In a hurry, by serving that same market and adding digital assets to the mix. Because Hidden Road has a lot of money and a very robust balance sheet, more institutions are able to enter these asset classes against a well-capitalized counterparty. And that's prime brokers pulling folks into crypto in a single day. Wow. So, just a brief touch base. I love that Brad is doing this after XRP has had a good month, going up 50% from its low. Basically, it was a phase of consolidation before breaking a new all-time high. So we know that Ripple Labs has been working on something in the background. Sorry, they've been working in the rear of the home to make sure their initiative is a success. And they're doing so by buying businesses. And that's something that people are missing when we witness these massive transfers from Ripple founders. Remember that a lot of you get worried when you see sales and people moving tokens, especially when the founders move them to brokerages or exchanges. They might use that money to buy stuff for Ripple Labs later on. So, remember that, you people, that money may still go to a business account for Ripple Labs to buy new businesses, even though it's related to some of the founders. So, keep in mind that Ripple and XRP are the founding fathers, and their market cap and value are going up a lot. They got in at less than a penny, or even $0, when XRP was worth nothing. So if they're using that money to grow the infrastructure, improve Ripple Labs skills, I think it's a big gain no matter what. As I said at the start of the video, XRP's aim of $3.82 is a new all-time high, thanks to over $130 million in new whale accumulation and ETF momentum. XRP is starting to show signs of renewed bullish momentum as whales, or big investors, buy about $130 million worth of tokens. Even as the overall market volume is starting to slow down a bit, analysts are starting to look at the prospective rise between $3 and $3.82, and maybe even higher, in the very near future. This is because there is more discussion about a possible spot ETF and the legal situation is becoming clearer again. Charts released blockchain analysts findings that wallets with between $10 million and $100 million in XRP bought more than 130 million tokens INI the last 24 hours. By the way, that's worth $360 million. The big whale accumulation happened when the XRP price dropped to the $3 support level for a short time. You need to keep an eye on what the whales do because they often have some type of information or belief that tells them this is the best time to acquire XRP or any other whale in the crypto business before the price goes up, and since they have a lot of money, they don't need to see a 10, 20, 30, or 40 times return. They might want to do it for a double, a treble, or a quadruple. So, once more, when you guys see the sells, make sure to keep an eye on the buys as well, and don't become scared or don't let the fact that we're seeing sells make you scared, unsure, or doubtful. Of course, speculation about ETFs makes bullish XRP predictions much stronger. Jamie Alcala, the chief marketing officer of Bybit Wallet, talked on the change in mood. XRP is still there, getting back into the market when fresh ETF speculation meets with clearer legal issues. This change is making the market deeper and is an indication of structural progress for XRSP's validity in the US markets. Ryan Lee, the main analyst at Big Get, also had something to say. He said that if the ETF story keeps getting more popular, $3.50 to $4 is still possible in the next few weeks. Anytime you see these big-time researchers from centralized exchanges, blockchain experts are giving these kinds of stuff. They are always very careful with their goals. So, with that in mind, I think we could do a lot better than what some of these blockchain researchers say. They always play it safe, but we could do a lot better. We constantly try to be very positive and offer liberal forecasts and possible dips in derivatives volume, but long positions are in charge. I love that XRP was being extensively shorted at all-time highs, but now that we've seen the price drop from $368 to $3, which is around 15 to 20%, now we've seen the flip in the futures market, where people are genuinely wagering that XRP will go up in the short term and in the long run. We can see this on both Binance and OKX. Now they are more than the shorts. Price movement $3 holds.